Nigeria. I am Becky Madujemu. Welcome to Newsline. Firstly, I want to thank ardent watchers of this program. NTA appreciates your loyalty. We aim to meet your needs in terms of information, and we shall be doing just that tonight. A suspected serial pedophile is exposed. CCTV captures a gang of robbers cut away victims' property with impunity as criminal groups go on rampage in a populous northern city. By the way, two women are making history because of their foray into a job that until now only men undertook. We also have events, including the inauguration of a radio station. I enjoin you to keep it here as we join Claire Adilabu Abdurazak for the news. How are you doing, Claire?
This is Lizzie, and thank you so much for joining us on the news segment of the program. We begin with electoral matters. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has declared winners of the December 5 senatorial by-elections. Francis Form has a compilation of the results.
Bearer of the All Progressives Congress, APC, for the Lagos East senatorial by-election, Tokunbo Abiru, has been declared winner by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The former bank executive polled 89,204 votes to defeat Babatunde Gbadamosi of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, who scored 11,257 votes. In the meantime, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Honorable Henry Seriake Dixon, has been declared winner of the Bayelsa West Senatorial District by-elections. He defeated his closest contender, Perimoboe Ebebi of the All Progressives Congress, with a total of 97,716 votes. Returning officer, Bayelsa West Senatorial District, Professor Okechukwu Okeke, declared that PDP scored 115,257, while APC scored 17,541 votes. In Cross River State, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has declared Stephen Adi Ode of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, winner of the Cross River North Senatorial election. Stephen Ode of the PDP scored 129,207 votes, while Joe Ode Agi of the APC came second with 19,165 votes. Lastly, the returning officer for the Saturday, December 5th Bakura State Assembly by-election in Zamfara State, Professor Ibrahim Magawata, has declared the exercise inconclusive. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress has emerged winner of the Imo North Senatorial District by-election. The APC polled 36,811 votes to defeat its closest rival, the PDP, which polled 31,903 votes. Correspondent Faith Igwilo reports that no candidate was, however, attached to the winning party, as declared by the returning officer, Hakim Adikum.
The Imo North Senatorial District by-election held Saturday, December 5, 2020, is to fill the vacancy created by the death of Benjamin Owajumogu, who died earlier in the year. Presenting the result of the by-election, the returning officer Hakim Adikum declared the APC as winner, though without a candidate attached.
Secular district election held on the 5th December 2020. That the election was contested. The party received the scores as our mentioned down. That 28 APC having sanctioned the requirement of the law. 28 APC having sanctioned the law is
the resident electoral commissioner, Imo State, Professor Francis Ezono, while explaining the absence of a candidate for the APC, says due to the series of court orders for and against the two candidates who emerged after the party's primary, INEC cannot declare either of the candidates winner.
I've gone through the whole work of tabulating the scores. Now, we just opened from EC NTA. You saw us open it here. And we discovered that it bears names of candidates. And there are very confidence. And the commission directed that we should not contravene any court order. Therefore, we are not going to complete this form, we will report back to the commission. So the party that had the highest score has properly been declared. Thank you very much.
14 political parties contested for the vacant Imo North Senatorial District seat. In Owerri, Faith Igwilo, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has explained the situation in Imo North Senatorial by-election where APC was declared winner without a candidate. INEC National Commissioner for Information Festus Okoye says due to the various court cases between Ifeanyi Ararume and Chukwuma Francis, the Commission cannot make any declaration as to which candidate won. The Commission decided that the facts surrounding the Imo North Senatorial District election must be cleared before a return will be made. The Commission in a statement says this is deliberate and reflective on its attitude to judgments and orders of courts delivered too close to elections. Consistent with the law, regulations and guidelines of the Commission, only the logo of political parties is reflected on the ballot, and eligible voters vote for parties of their choice, and the vote belongs to the political parties and not necessarily to the candidates, the statement added. Meanwhile, a supplementary election has been scheduled for Wednesday, December 9, 2020 for the inconclusive election in Bakura State Constituency in Zamfara. The supplementary election, the statement says, will take place in the 14 polling units where the elections were disrupted. INEC described the conduct of the 15 by-elections as fairly credible, but frowns at the high level of intimidation of INEC staff and resistance to use the smart card reader. INEC also extends deep condolences to the families of the 6 policemen who lost their lives when the boat in which they were escorting election staff and materials capsized in Bayelsa State. And the presidency has described as welcoming the result of the by-elections conducted in some states, an indication that governing All Progressives Congress remains the choice party of Nigerians. A statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says the Buhari administration does not take this confidence of the people for granted, and we will not fail them. It assures Nigerians that they will not be disappointed for appreciating government's efforts at making life better for all, especially under an economy facing the severest test from the global coronavirus pandemic. While thanking the people immensely for their trust in the party and government, President Buhari congratulates the successful candidates and urges the party to uphold the spirit of hard work, unity, progress, and cooperation that forms the bedrock of these victories. Still on electoral matters outside the country, Ghanaian electorate are set to poll this Monday to elect their new president in an election that has been titled the Battle of Familiar Rivals. Correspondent Musbah Dan Wahab gives a situation report ahead of the election.
Ghana, one of the most solid democracies in West Africa, is looking to consolidate her democratic rule with the 8th successive election. 12 candidates are gunning for the #1 seat, but observers say it's a repeat of two-horse race between the incumbent president, 76-year-old Nana Akufo-Addo of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, and his predecessor, 62-year-old John Dramani Mahama of the National Democratic Congress, NDC. Late Jerry Rawlings' widow, Nana Konadu, is one of the 3 ladies in the race. Their intentions are clear, but more than 70 million eligible voters here are to decide who will jubilate to the Jubilee House on January 7, 2020.
We are ready. We make our mind.
I am ever ready because I want to vote. I will support the democracy 100%.
Not to worry. The Ghana Electoral Commission promises to make that known 24 hours after the election, as the security agencies say they are ready to guard the process. And with short and long-term observers deployed across the country, ECOWAS is again set to watch over the democratic growth of one of its babies. From Accra, Ghana, Musbau and Wahab, NTA News.
Now, since the return of democracy in 1999, state independent electoral commissions have been responsible for the conduct of periodic elections into local government councils. Now the electoral umpires are meeting to review challenges and ways of improving on the system and entrench best democratic values that will guarantee the people's expectations.
That SAICs are the creation of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Section 197, as amended, and not a product of callous and blind statements.
Now, away from electoral matters, the Chairman Progressives Governors Forum and the Governor of Kebbi State, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, has called on state governors to leverage on agriculture as the easiest way to cushion the effects of economic recession being experienced in the country. The forum chairman was speaking during a visit to Jigawa State, where he inaugurated a 42.5 kilometers road project constructed by the state government. Mohammed Musa Askira reports.
Governor Atiku Bagudu says agriculture is the way out for most states in the country, considering the dwindling federal allocation to states triggered by the second leg of economic recession Nigeria is experiencing. He observed that the current economic challenge is a global phenomenon arising from the COVID-19 pandemic, advising governors to look inward with a view to supplement the state's revenue drive.
What is amazing is what he has been able to achieve with the limited resources, because in the last 6 years the world economy has been in a turbulence which has been worsened by this year's coronavirus pandemic, coupled with the flooding that devastated many states including Jigawa.
Governor Badru Abubakar said the 42.5 kilometer road project linking Kafin Hausa and Kiawa local governments areas at the cost of 5.3 billion naira to boost movements of agricultural produce along the axis.
Ina so in ƙara mika godiya kamar yadda kullun nake ga Baba Buhari domin yarjewarsa da taimakonsa da adalcinsa ya sa muka samu muna wa'annan ayyuka kamar yadda na faɗa.
This is the second time Governor Muhammadu Badru Abubakar is inviting APC governors across the country for the inauguration of road projects in Jigawa in less than 3 months. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
And if the world makes the right decisions now, it can meet humanitarian needs, reset development pathways, accelerate implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals on a safe and healthy planet. United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed said this at the informal meeting of the special session of the General Assembly in response to COVID-19 pandemic. Adebola Brookston Sunday reports.
COVID-19, climate change, conflicts and humanitarian needs are some of the challenges confronting the planet Earth at the moment.
Her Excellency Amina Mohammed to make a statement.
Nigeria's Amina Mohammed, who is the United Nations Deputy Scribe, said the people and the planet must come first in the UN's immediate response to the pandemic.
The decisions taken over the next 12 months will have impact for decades to come. It is essential that they be geared towards reducing poverty and inequality, realizing the rights of all women and girls, and transitioning to a green economy that provides decent work for all. We will strengthen our efforts to mobilize greater resources for countries and people in greatest need, based on the policy options that have emerged from the Initiative on Financing for Development in the era of COVID-19 and beyond.
The meeting is to assist countries implement social protection policies. Adebola Brookston Sunday, NTA News.
A peaceful and united Nigeria must be pursued by all to achieve the much-needed national prosperity and development. This was the message of the Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, to Nigerians during a courtesy visit to Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Nosa Ursula reports that the need to eschew violence and always to the path of understanding was also emphasized.
Father, while briefing journalists after a closed-door meeting with the governor, stated that the visit was imperative as Lagos and Kano states have enjoyed a long and prosperous relationship. The Emir, who explained that Kano State would always feel the impact of happenings in Lagos, promised that the Kano State government would continue to support Lagos State.
Since I become the Emir, this has always been my dream to come around and build the bridge that has been in existence. I have been to Abeokuta, I have been to Ibadan, I have been to Oyo, I have been to Ile-Ife, and I'm here in Lagos. We think could lead to further good relationship that has been existing for centuries between Kano and Lagos State.
In another development, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has described the emergence of the All Progressives Congress candidate Tokunbo Abiru as the senator-elect for Lagos East Senatorial District as a victory for all, while commending the electorate for coming out to perform their civic responsibilities and for voting in large numbers for the two candidates put forward by the APC.
We're committed to serving our people, because that's all it is. It's service to our people. And let's not be deterred. Let's not be discouraged. Let's not be diverted. Let's keep our eye on the ball.
The senator-elect, Tokunbo Abiru, assured residents that he would continue with the tradition of excellent representation that Lagos legislators are known for. In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
To electrification now, the Rural Electrification Agency has inaugurated a 234 kilowatts power solar hybrid mini-grid project in Shinmankar community of Shandam local government area of Plateau State. Managing Director, Rural Electrification Agency, Hamid Salhiujo Hamid, commended the efforts of the Green Village Energy, the developer, for great job done, appealing to the community to protect the installation to drive the maximum benefits. Caleb Koshim reports.
Domestic supply is one of the driving factors for the growth and development of the economy. This is being realized in Plateau State, where Shimankar community in Shandam local government area, which has been without electricity for decades and has one of the largest rice mills in Plateau State, is a beneficiary of the federal government rural electrification project. The project, which is being executed through private sector participation under the Nigeria Electrification Project, is funded by the World Bank through the Rural Electrification Agency of the federal government of Nigeria.
The federal government has been emphasizing a lot on this, and there's a roadmap here at the REA to enable us power one community at a time. And here we have the 234 kilowatt peak solar hybrid today. That will power over 1,972 households, as he has mentioned.
In addition, 36 states will be given 24,500 productive use appliances, whilst also providing technical assistance and also developing capacity building across the country.
Managing Director, Green Village Energy, GVE, acknowledged the performance-based grant under the Nigeria Electrification Project.
This new development will not only improve the socio-economic life of the community, the mini-grid will also invariably propel economic growth and improve micro, small and medium-scale business activities within the community.
Plateau State Governor represented said the state government is committed to work with the federal government and private sector investors in completing the reform of power sector that will lead to the realization of rapid expansion of renewable energy in the state. The project is being executed in 14 locations in the country. From Shimankar in Shandam, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
Let's now shift our attention to security. A total of 108 cadets have been commissioned into the Nigerian Navy as sub-lieutenants to help shore up the capacity of the nation's military in response to rising security threats. Minister of Defense, represented by the Chief of Defense Staff Gabriel Olonishakin at the passing out parade in One, Rivers State, said the latest enlistment is part of government's measures to reposition the security forces to contain the contemporary security challenges. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
These are the latest sub-lieutenants of the Nigerian Navy Direct Short Service Course 27
Their enlistment is sequel to the approval by President Muhammadu Buhari for the Nigerian military to enhance the numerical strength and capacity of the security forces. Minister of Defense Major General Bashir Magashi retired tasked the new officers to bring the knowledge gained to bear, especially in addressing maritime security threats.
In addition to assisting sister services in the Northeast operations against Boko Haram insurgents, the Nigerian Navy has continued to spearhead international security operations in the Nigerian Delta region.
This course is the first course to undergo the Green Skills Littoral Combat Optional Training at the Joint Maritime Security Center in Lagos.
3 of the 108 commissioned officers made first class, 75 graduated with second class, while 32 others had third class. From One, River State, I'm Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
To bridge the Nigerian Air Force capability gap in special forces and combat search and rescue operations, 203 troops have been injected into the existing force. Chief of the Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar announced this at the graduation of the combined team at the Nigerian Air Force Regiment Training Center, Air Force Base Bauchi. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Marksmanship drill, a vital skill for all military personnel. These are troops of the Nigerian Air Force Special Forces, one of the most feared fighting formations, trained to attack with speed, precision, and superior tactics. These forces are products of a 13-week intensive theoretical and practical training for special forces and combat search and rescue, with emphasis on force projection, protection, and base defense. This training is to upscale the troops' capacity to effectively operate in different difficult terrain and weather conditions. They are expected to provide situational awareness for aircrew to reduce collateral damage, enhance the success and safety of air operations.
We have about 300 of these forces in Benue State and another 200 in Zamfara State that are fighting side by side with ground troops in order to ensure the security of our country. Their performance has proven that enhancing the capacity and capability of our personnel is the best way of ensuring the attainment of our operational goals and objectives.
The command has trained over 1,200 personnel by conducting 7 Special Forces course, 2 Special Forces Instructors course, and 3 Combat Search and Rescue course.
203 out of more than 300 personnel enlisted for the course 7 and 3 Special Forces and Combat and Search, as well as rescue training, successfully graduated.
Congratulations.
From the Nigerian Air Force Base in Bauchi, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Directorate of Defense Media Operations, DMO, says the air component of Operation Thunderstrike has destroyed a camp and neutralized scores of armed bandits in an airstrike executed at the Kuduru Forest area of Kaduna State. The component has also provided close air support to the Niger Police Force in a joint offensive operation to clear identified bandits hideouts in the Kofa area of Kaduna State. DMO Coordinator Major General John Enenche says the air interdiction mission at Kuduru Forest was carried out on December 5, 2020, sequel to credible intelligence reports indicating that a group of heavily armed bandits responsible for a previous attack on troops at Ngede Ala had originated from a camp within the forest. Accordingly, the air component dispatched Nigerian Air Force attack aircraft to engage the location, scoring devastating hits which destroyed the bandits' logistic structures and killed several of the criminals. The NAV attack aircraft in an ISR platform later provided close air support as the police advanced from Sarkin Power through Tawaglil towards Kofa area. President Muhammadu Buhari says member nations of the African Union must establish in full effect special units dedicated to silencing the gun in view of the various conflicts affecting the continent. In a message delivered by Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema at the 14th Extraordinary Summit on Silencing the Gun held online, the President says Nigeria is effectively collaborating at the regional, inter- and intra-state levels to ensure peace prevails on the continent. citing success of the multinational joint task force in the Lake Chad Basin, as well as stabilizing the political impasse in Mali as major breakthroughs. The president also laments threats by terrorists, external interference in the international affairs of African states, and proliferation of arms. A 40 kilowatt capacity solar hybrid mini-grid power project has been inaugurated for use in Goto Sarkin community in Paikoro local government area of Niger State. The project is part of federal government's renewable energy initiative under the Rural Electrification Fund to aid equitable access to electricity across regions while maximizing economic, social and environmental benefits of rural electrification subsidies. Fatima Usman reports.
Is a rural community located in the hinterland of Paikoro local government area of Niger State with 1,500 dwellers. Except for the power from generating sets, electricity power supply was alien to the people until the Rural Electrification Agency looked their way.
For us to be able to charge our phones, we have to go to Amale or Isho where they use gen.
Most of our challenges were the issue of banditry. Of course, they come in the night, there is no light, the bandits can just go, but if there is light now, it is very hard for them to enter the town.
The 40 kilowatt capacity solar mini-grid power plant inaugurated is a project under the Rural Electrification Fund program of the Rural Electrification Agency, a private partnership project designed to provide clean, safe and reliable electricity to rural dwellers far from the national grid. The project is also expected to increase the income of the people in the community through improved business activities and productivity.
We are doing our best to collaborate with REA to make sure that all the other local areas who are like this community should be having the same services.
The whole idea of having this PPP arrangement is to ensure that the project remains sustainable.
These are some of the things we look at. For instance, what's the tariff? Is it fair? We have mechanisms, in-house, which we use to check. So if we see that somebody is coming with the intention of gaming the system, of course, they will not even make it to this stage of, being shortlisted and awarded the project.
It's 140 naira for a kilowatt hour, depending on the business we are doing. That is what will make the project sustainable, and we have signed an agreement with them.
The installation of the mini-grid heralds hope for other basic amenities lacking in the area.
The joy of the people of Goto community knows no bound, as what the electricity means to them can only be imagined. Their women, they hope, can now be able to process food items while security will be improved in their community. In Goto Sarki, Paikoro local government area of Niger State, I am Fatima Usman, NTA News.
Talking sports now, Enyimba beat Rahimo 2-1 on aggregate to qualify to